Earlier this morning, there was a knock upon my door. I opened up to see who it was. It was the wife of my landlord. She had a gift bag for me, and when I looked inside, I saw that in it was a lemon that was nearly 8 inches wide. Oh, what a beauty! I've never seen one as big as that before. Oh, what a beauty! It must be, I don't know, at least 6 inches or even more. It's such a lovely color, so big and round and fat. I've never seen a lemon grow quite as big as that. Regular lemon,
Ponderosa lemon.
ponderosa.
Ponderosa.
Are you pondering what I'm pondering, Pinky? Try to take over the world with lemons.
We need more cereal, Brian.
Sure, Brian, but where we gotta find rubber pants this time of night? So, Dobre something. What is it?
Dobre Don.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I just didn't want to try it and be wrong, so I just got as far as what I knew was right. I was like, Dobre lemons. Dobre. Yeah, I was hoping I was wrong, so I could maybe have another shot at morphing it into a citrus fruit in a funny way. But clearly, this has not worked out the way I hoped.
Dobre Don and lemon.
Clearly, many things have not worked out the way I hoped. See, we haven't just been handed a lemon here. Our country has been handed a super evil alien lemon from Mordor. Literally, Mordor. That's where Trump from. He's a.
That's where Trump from.
No, wait. He's.
That's where Trump
That's
from.
where Trump from.
Trump mad.
No, he ain't president. He's just Trump. I'm not even gonna fucking use proper grammar with his name. That's where Trump from. Okay, he doesn't even get proper grammar. Okay. Fuck that guy.
My inner grammar Nazi concedes to you.
Here. We shall certify this with a fist bump. Oh.
Yes, I'm still working on Christmas presents. Shut up.
I'm so ticked off that I'm molting. I sent another angry email to the White House that nobody's ever gonna fucking care about. Yeah, just it's not like I saved the fucking world economy or anything. Why would they fucking listen to me?
Dear.
Bastards.
Dear. Don't kill the woman.
Oh. It's not a stress ball.
No, it's not.
Here, I'll hold this one. It'll remind me not to treat it like that. Because, look at the size of this thing. It's like, there's my head, there's a lemon. There's a normal person's head, there's a lemon. There's a boob, there's... Oh, never mind.
I don't think you can see that.
Yeah, you can't really see the boob, but you can see the lemon. So, oh, what the fuck just happened here, people? Thank you so much to Keith Olbermann for just giving me a glimmer of hope. I'm considering writing an apology email to the White House. Poor little staffer who's gonna read that. Just be like, "Is this a terrorist threat?" No, it's okay. It's just this crazy guy who thinks he's Jesus. Whatever you have to fucking tell yourself, people. Certainly haven't proven it. I have people text messaging me saying, can't you just snap your fingers and make sure it happens, you know? Nope, can't do that. Like I've said from the get-go, and the beginning, and the beginning, and underpants. Cold War never ended. We lost, and it's up to you. Okay, so if you're wondering why, you know, I didn't miracle my ass off this cross, I now hang here and quell my own anger, because I know that anger is common with the fathers. And what do I say? What do I say as I hang upon this cross that you expect me to miracle my ass down from, huh? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
I call bullshit.
They don't. Propaganda has completely warped the minds of these people. Even you had complained that we didn't have two good candidates. Even you had temporarily bought into it.
No.
Situationally, at least.
I did not ever say that Hillary was not a good candidate. I said that I did not believe that after having a black president for 8 years, that America was ready to jump straight into the next first of there being a woman president. That was what I said. I never said that she wasn't a good candidate. I thoroughly believed through and through.
Right.
That she was the perfect
But you
person.
you talked about how
She has,
we can't get a better choice than these two fuckers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, alright.
And that's the thing. I understand exactly why people mistrust Hillary Clinton. Okay? I sympathize with you for how you feel. But in my greater understanding of exactly what's led you to feel that way, I know that you have been propagandized. You have been brainwashed. It is a programmed response, just like saying, I know the earth is round because I've seen ships go over the horizon. Ships go over the horizon because of fucking waves. You can't see far enough to see a ship go over the horizon. Anyways. Like, I know the earth is round because the earth is not a square that ships can fall off of. They're called straw man arguments.
As long as they're not called Slender Man arguments, I think we're safe. What?
Yeah, that would be kind of creepy.
A little bit.
Yeah. Toe Jam and Earl would be happy. Sega! Oh, I just fulfilled a childhood dream of one day being on, I guess, fake TV counts and doing this. Sega! Because that's just fun. You want to do it too?
I'm stuffed up now.
Say it.
Sega!
Say it. Oh, come on. That's all you got?
I'm all
Say
congested.
it. Say it.
Sega!
Okay, there you go. That scared me a little. I wasn't expecting that much enthusiasm. I was like, oh, shit. She's Sega. What was that last commercial that they actually did that was that had some abstract thing. I forget what it was. It was like a head combined with something else. Like somebody was sitting there going, say it, and the head went, Sega. Like,
I know what you're talking
something
about.
like that. I don't even know if
don't.
that's what it was with the head. Just, you know, me and my severed head thing. Say. Those are jokes you'll only hear here. Here.
Here.
Squinch, squinch. Good King Kong. No, fuck you. Good King Kong, damn it. Here.
Now you're making me want to play Final
Good
Fantasy.
King, good King, good King, good King, good King, good. Good King Kong went up, honestly. Yeah.
I think that's in one of the Final Fantasy games.
No, I showed it to you. Good King Kong. If you're not familiar, because you're not like a college choir dork like me, Good King Kong is a little Christmas funny carol. And if you haven't heard it, I highly recommend you look it up on YouTube, because it's fucking adorable. Anyway. Squinch. Clunk. Anyway, it's really fun if you're a choir geek. It's like a fun performance. You know, it's fun to learn, fun to do. What the fuck was I talking about? What are we talking about? Okay. I have a list of Cold War never-ending type things. Gonna get into that in a minute. Just a list of things that happened in the 80s that basically mean if you think the Cold War ended, you're an idiot. But that's okay. That's why you're supposed to repent. It's funny how every single... Is it every single major Jesus quote? You know, just third person outside looking in here, okay? While I get a little heavier on my redneck accent that I'm really proud of. Outside looking in here.
What's going there?
Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, speaking of which. Stop it. Just don't. Sacre bleu. Is that better? You know, like what the fuck you want me to do?
Well,
don't you do it, Carpet.
Well, I'm warning you, fat ass.
Not making it any easier to keep a train of thought.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so think of a Jesus quote.
Sorry.
The Jesus. Yeah, we just got done watching the new Top Gear. What's it called? Grand Tour. Think of a Jesus quote. And ever since watching Top Gear, like obsessively, compulsively, you know, like religiously. No, not quite religiously. That just sounds dirty, doesn't it? Ever since then, every time I say Jesus, it has to sound like Jesus, because it's funny to me. I wonder why. Well, I know. Oh, you're thinking of it.
I'm trying.
Okay.
When the whole give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll feed himself for a lifetime.
Oh, yes.
That happens to be one of my favorite.
Pretty soon we'll be teaching how. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, you've actually segued me. You segued me into one of the things I wanted to talk about on the video tonight that I was forgetting altogether.
My segue.
Future channel objectives, considering that we're not going to be talking about the election anymore. You know, that, let's face it, never really fucking happened. You know, that election that Hillary Clinton won, that, you know, she doesn't get to be president even though she won.
Right.
Because some people who are called electors have made up this system where their vote counts more than everybody else's. And supposedly, even though the states that were won that are swaying this election won by single percentage, most of them, you know?
I think one of them was even less than 1%.
The vast, overwhelming popular opinion of the country has been overturned for this false illusion of states' rights when the Electoral College has done more to silence the rights of people in these states by suppressing the voter turnout. And now we have a banana republic under the command of a Russian puppet named Trump.
Did you hear that?
Named Trump. Which, you know, I purposely fucked up the grammar.
Did you hear that the protests that were going on today in all the major capital cities, actually, where the electoral people were going to go vote? There was one, I forget where they were reporting from, but they said that the protesters outside had signs up that said "Niet Trump."
Right. Oh, I'm just gonna go start planting Russian flags everywhere.
The hell you will?
No. You know, if anybody's got a problem with it, I'm gonna ask them if they voted for Trump, and I'm gonna tell them to take it down themselves. Go ahead. Here, you can have it. Take it down your damn self. You already had your chance to stop a Russian flag from being planted in this country. You failed there, so go ahead. Make my fucking day. And I may or may not kick their fucking teeth out. You know, just saying.
Depends on the weather.
Just depends on them, you know, whether the moonlight is refracting the swamp gas from
Venus.
Yeah, Venus. And if there's a crow's nest in Uranus,
We gotta sacrifice a virgin.
yeah, them will sacrifice a virgin bullock, and splatter its fatted something rather on the hoo-ha.
I think we took this a little far.
And do a little dance.
Make it a little.
And get down tonight. Yeah. Take things too far. No, not us. Never. So, we had a segue into the right topic and got a little off.
Fishing.
Just a smidgen. Oh, I know.
Oh, okay. In case they forgot.
I was just gonna.
Them.
I was just
in the box.
I was just testing to see if you forgot. Yeah.
Come make me attack your phone with the bare feet. Pull the bare feet.
Okay, so future objectives for the channel. One of which includes once certain business arrangements go through, educating on the arts of marine aquaculture. Because, should the marine ecosystem ever actually regain its balance, it would help to be able to repopulate it. Right now, it's all dying off. And there's also a lot of different ways you can adapt survivors and help. Like, okay, so basically, if you have a species of coral that can't live in one area but can do well in another area, and the coral there dies off, it's not as though this coral is going to naturally migrate itself and inhabit that reef. But man can intervene. What's the reason for doing this? It's because baby fish that, we need to have big fish to eat. Baby fish need places to hide so they can grow up and become big fish. That's what you need coral for. Artificial reefs don't do it because they don't provide sufficient nutritional complexity for basically quality breeding to take place. And the reason why nutritional complexity and quality livestock, quality food fish is necessary is because of the benefits that eating such things gives to man. Okay, health benefits. Basically, we'd all be a lot more prone to disease if we were eating nothing but, like, if you've never had any kind of wild caught fish in your life, chances are somebody gets sick really easily. I don't really know how else to put that. Like, can you imagine?
Your immune system isn't built up for the stuff that naturally, well, I guess somewhat naturally and a lot unnaturally, thanks to mankind, occurs in nature, and all the stuff that the wild fish absorbs. Because you gotta think everything that they eat. You throw trash in the ocean, those fish eat stuff in the ocean. You got catfish that a lot of people eat are bottom feeders. So everything that sinks to the bottom and starts to decay and rot away, those catfish are eating. And it's getting absorbed into their muscles and their skin and their bones, and in turn, when we catch them, we eat that shit. Sorry. Pisses me off. People fucking throw shit in the water.
Where's Okay, so I think the obvious metaphorical aspect of teaching people how to recognize the truth, teaching people how to understand what's going on with the country. While it would have helped if more people would have been able to cast their nets, that's obviously what I've been trying to do here. I haven't been trying to do your fishing for you. When people ask me to snap my fingers to change things, I don't. I've been telling you how things are gonna be. If you don't do this. And, well, it's my opinion that you just didn't. And that's mostly on the part of the media. And I'm really kind of disheartened to the point of paranoia that the few reporters that are, that were there, I'm not even seeing them anymore. And some of the people who just almost seem to be willing to tell the truth have only told enough to be gatekeepers of the greater truth. And not even the complete truth, just the gatekeeper of a high enough truth to really express the reality on a basic level of the political situation we have here. Everybody's focused on DNC hacking when the fact of the matter is, what should have been being said is that when somebody is repeating Russian propaganda from their stump, okay, when somebody is giving comfort and aid to the enemy, which Donald Trump has been doing, that is a definition of treason. This is a traitor. This is a KGB puppet. And we have seriously allowed him to shun the White House. He hasn't really taken it, has he?
Ooh.
His wife sure doesn't seem very interested. And let's face it, our beloved nation's capital, I almost said capital, so I went ahead and just,
Unprecedented.
I made the unprecedented move to say the word capital. Our capital, our beloved nation's White House, like, it's like part of the beauty of it is it's not that lavish. Part of the beauty of it is that it's grand and it's stately and it's respectable, but it's all business. And when you look at it, you understand that this is a working person's house. If you don't understand that, then you're not really understanding much of what you're looking at. They don't have a whole lot of different private areas to themselves. They're staying at a nice hotel, basically. And so are their kids. And this place that Americans have admired and looked up to for generations, this symbol of American leadership and hope for the free world, our new, quote, First Lady has turned her fucking nose up at it. I take this with great insult, personally. But then again, I've got my own little Eastern influence here.
Fake, though.
So maybe that kind of just slap in the face seems a little more apparent to me, because I know that it's intentional, that it's not like something that doesn't occur to them. You think Donald Trump doesn't know he's destroying America? You don't think Melania Trump doesn't know she's an insult to the dignity of America?
That woman wouldn't know dignity if it jumped up and bit her in the asshole.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm sure she pays top dollar for that treatment. Wait, what?
You're right.
Oh yeah, speaking of not being able to say things if your last name is about somebody if their last name is Trump. Oh, God. So, after how many different fake news stories about Hillary Clinton costing what? Can we put a dollar amount on the future of this country? Can we put a dollar amount on freedom and prosperity? Can we put a dollar amount on the way my children feel now? We live in a very, very Republican area. My girls feel like we have to move right now. Like, that's When I told them the Electoral College voted, they're like, and let me guess, they went for Trump. And Layla's first thing she said was, oh, great, that means we have to move. Because I tell you what, like we were saying about earlier, about the Electoral College suppresses the vote and causes people to be disenfranchised in certain states. My kids and any other Democrat who lives in the country, whose kids have dared to express their dislike of Donald Trump, who's obviously a really scary person, who any rational person would express dislike of, they're being picked on for it now by their surrounding Republican people who just can't help but to gloat. Sorry. Somebody's facing me.
I know, but that don't mean you ain't all loud and powerful and shit. Kind of glad you're not facing me.
Yeah, I don't think the microphone on here quite picks up my lower reverberations.
My brain does.
Sorry, baby. Okay, so one of the primary themes of this channel has been that the Cold War never ended, and we are going to continue exposing that historical error in the hopes to lend not only understanding to our present situation, but to understand the only actual failure of the Democrats, which was its failure to, in recognition of the Russian propaganda of today, use that acknowledgement to backtrack and say, hey, wait a minute. Russian propaganda has also, and it has, made liberals get really nasty towards Christians. And follow with me now. Made Christians feel like they've been marginalized. And instead we've let it become not Christians, but the word has been white working class. And in this election, unlike any other election, we have not talked much about what Christians think. You heard a little bit about what this evangelical minister and that evangelical person thinks. But nobody ever dared bring up the obvious, who would Jesus vote for? Oh, wait. People who voted for Trump actually tell themselves that because Jesus was an Old Testament Christian like they are, aside from the whole establishing of the New Covenant thing, that he's as judgmental and as much of a greedy asshole, willing to use their hatred of other people to justify their greed and inequity and selfishness Yeah, that's Jesus. He's just like y'all are, and Jesus would want you to vote for Trump because he's an asshole too. Not quite, little dearies. I can speak with a redneck accent and a British accent at the same time. Like, what? Yeehaw, cheerio. Wait, what? I don't know. That's all I got. It was way too much thought for that lame of a fucking. Did I just light a cigarette?
I thought you just did.
Oh, fuck. Ah. All right. So, yeah, just a basic delve into the actuality of the propaganda that's really dividing us. There was an opportunity missed, okay? But that didn't cost her the election. The propaganda that controlled the conversation that we as a nation needed to be having in order for this to have been a free and fair election, that was completely inhibited by Russian propaganda. We didn't have a free and fair election. So we didn't have an election at all.
And we had a controlled and biased election.
We had a coup. It was an installation via hypnosis of the masses. And the reason why this was hypnosis of the masses because of that control of the conversation. Because in that control of the conversation, we talked about nothing but Donald Trump or Hillary's emails. We talk about Donald Trump in terms that enraged his supporters because of the way this propaganda framed what we were doing, what Hillary was doing, what Democrats in general were doing, without us even knowing. We couldn't respond to fake news that we weren't even getting. So the logical things that we were saying, trying to rebut all of the different conversations every day we'd be having about Donald Trump, they were falling on deaf ears. Meanwhile, the conversations about Hillary Clinton were all based on WikiLeaks emails or this FBI interference. Which was based again on a book, a fucking propaganda piece. Hacking had a lot to do with election day actual rigging. Voter suppression had a lot more to do with it. Especially when Donald Trump threatened voters from the stump by saying that his people, when they're done voting, should go watch out for you know who. Black people. Okay, I mean, if you're an ex-racist, you know what these things mean. Donald Trump knows what these things mean. Are we are we still numb to Bush to where we're just gonna be, hoping he's stupid? Until we're all in the fucking here, get into the gas chamber. Oh.
It's
Well,
just
this
a shower.
we'll just wait and see what happens. We'll just give him a chance and
They said it was a shower.
Yeah. For fuck's sake.
And you know what? He's gonna pull us into a war before he's even inaugurated.
Oh, China is...
You tell him about China and what happened in China?
Go ahead.
So, so he had that phone call with was it the Prime Minister of Taiwan or whatever
Yes.
the hell? Which of course pissed China off because America and China have a one China policy thing where Taiwan is recognized as being part of China. And Donald Trump's all not for that shit.
And he's basically threatened a trade war with China.
Yeah, he says that, they tax us on products coming in and we don't tax them and how we're getting fucked and this, that, and another. And some of their military jets buzzed some of our military ships in the South China Sea as a warning to Trump. This motherfucker ain't even president yet. And he's already getting...
And they've said that he is like a child.
Oh, because he is.
That's what their politicians are quoted in their newspapers as saying about our president.
I know children smarter than this guy.
Yeah. So, if you think that Russian propaganda hasn't been dividing and conquering this country for, at least since the 1990s began, if you think that the Berlin Wall falling somehow meant that the Cold War was magically over and we can all, think happy thoughts and fly and whatever. I have a little list. This list is in no particular order. It was just a matter of maybe an hour-long search on YouTube, no less. So this was just the things that I could find that you can't even suppress. These things that you probably know about or should know about. These things happened in the 80s. Okay? So considering that at the end of the 80s we declared victory in the Cold War, these should all be good things. Nothing bad could have happened to us in the 80s because we won, right? Everything must have been going very well for us. Okay. In 1986, we had the Challenger. Blew up. And NASA had to ground its shuttles for a good while. In 1988, there was the Pepcom ammonium chloride explosion. Ammonium chloride being the fuel, the solid fuel ammonia oxygen supplement for rockets that NASA uses and the Air Force. It was the Pepcom refinery had about half of the nation's supply of this mineral, and oh boy, did it go boom! I think it killed 3 people and injured, a couple dozen more, because it was out in the middle of the desert. It wasn't the type of place where you want to have a lot of men because it was a very volatile substance. That happened in 1988. Okay, lost half our rocket fuel in 1988. Lost half our rocket fuel capability. All right. Then you had the barracks bombing, the Marine barracks. 800 Marines killed in Lebanon. You had the Iran-Contra scandal, which kind of embarrassing. It didn't really go well for us. In 1988, at a U.S. airbase in Ramstein, Germany, 30 people were killed in an air show when an airplane couldn't make it through the little array of planes it was trying to go through as a trick, and it was heading straight for the crowd, killing 30 people at a U.S. Air Force air show. a NATO air show in Germany in 1988. Yeah, that's not like a significant thing, but it's a psychological thing, especially when it comes to the fact that it happened in Germany. You know? I'll show you a news clip of it later. You might remember.
I might have been there. We used to go to a lot of air shows when I was living there with my dad.
Right? It wouldn't surprise me if you were there, or at least had heard about it.
Oh, I'm sure I did hear about it, but I actually think we were
Okay, so in 1980, a fucking mountain blew up. Mount St. Helens. Killed a few people. Killed quite a few more cars. Killed a hell of a lot more trees. And, generally speaking, shook the faith of America. Shook the invincibility of America. Holy fuck, a mountain just exploded. We didn't really see that coming. That was like,
didn't they think it
kind
was
of humbling,
Didn't they think that was inactive too? It was like
right.
It
was not expected to erupt at all. People suddenly started noticing some hints of activity, and then it just suddenly went. So, in 1979, on Christmas Day, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan. And proceeded to continue to evade it and complete its invasion by 1980. In February 1989, the political government that was established after the steady Mujahideen resistance, which had initially started completely on its own, and then they actually asked for American assistance before the CIA got involved, led to a political solution in 1989, in which the Soviet Union signed a paper with the government to withdraw its troops. And by 1992, that government had been overthrown in a Russian-backed coup by the Northern Alliance, which would be consolidated into the Taliban by 1996. Yep. Sounds like we won the Cold War, all right. So in 1988, in the North Sea, the Piper Alpha oil rig exploded, killing 167 people. 1988 in the North Sea. It's funny how right when all this stuff happened, didn't we have a little bit of a oil rig problem right when Putin was invading Georgia? It's funny how we were all talking about that while Putin was invading Georgia. We were all talking about a BP oil disaster, and Putin was invading Georgia. It's funny how a month before that there was a Russian submarine in the Gulf of Mexico. Couldn't possibly be related, right? Couldn't possibly be related. Because Russia's our friend, according to the Trump. That grammar was far too proper. Sorry. Anyway, I'm not dwelling. No, I was dwelling. So in 1981, speaking of Trump, hotels. In 1981, in Kansas City, a hotel that had just been open had 2 balconies collapse on the crowds below. Hyatt in Kansas City. And in 1980, It's funny because this is right when Trump was starting to buy hotels. Yeah. In 1980, there was a little bit of a fire, a lot of a fire actually, at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. And another place where Trump's been doing business for a good little while, Singapore. In 1986 in Singapore, I suggest anyone familiar with the 9/11 World Trade Center 7 collapse, go find the video of this. In 1986, the New World Hotel in Singapore collapsed demolition style with people inside. Now, the only skepticism I can raise to this is the fact that this was a much shittier building, so it could have just collapsed under its own weight. But it might not have. You know, I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like the way it collapses is pretty damn investor friendly. Investor friendly, I think, is the word I'm looking for. So yeah, all this bad stuff happened to us during the 1980s, but lucky for us, this place where the CIA thought had all of these towns where possible spies were being trained to perfectly infiltrate America by having these towns emulate American towns, including their laws and the traffic lights, everything. Lucky for us, there was a nuclear disaster nearby, and it all had to be evacuated. And nobody really knows where the fuck any of those people went. It's comforting, yes. Isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Comforting, like an anal cyst. Comforting. Like an anal cyst made of high explosives.
Ow.
Right before shock treatment's about to begin.
Ow.
Comforting.
I don't know if that's quite the word I would go for.
Like sitting on a cactus after eating a whole lot of red meat and spaghetti sauce. Comforting. Like Donald Trump's president. PreCidency.
His presidency that's unprecedented.
Yes, his unprecedented presidency. Oh, I like that. I'm going to make that the title of the video. The unprecedented presidency. Donald Trump, President of the United States. That's all you're ever going to get out of me. And on that bombshell, I believe it's time to end.
Yes.
So, good night. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Good luck.
Right.